Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Ruhm with the Ruhm-Insurance Agency. I'm a licensed independent insurance agent located in Cincinnati, Ohio. Currently hold a license in 18 states. If you ever need to contact me, you can give me a call or text at 513-496-3877, or you can come to my homepage and some of my other pages, and I have a contact form as well. On my homepage, you can also schedule an appointment. So if any of those work for you and you'd like to talk with me, please reach out. Today, I'm going to talk about the 2024 Medicare prescription drug plan. I did a blog on this, so you can access it at any time. Again, it's at chrisroom.com/blog, and I've got a bunch of different options here. But let's talk about what I consider one of the main reasons why I'm employed. These prescription drug plans are pretty confusing. So I'm going to go over what you need to know, and you probably still might not get it, but I'm going to do my best to explain it. Every drug plan has 4 stages, whether you get this on a standalone prescription drug plan or if you get it on a Medicare Advantage plan. So the maximum an insurance company in 2024 can charge for a deductible is $545. Last year was $505. The initial coverage stage went up to $5,030 from $4,660. The coverage gap, or what they call the donut hole, is the same. You pay 25% when you're in the donut hole. If it's a brand name drug, you will pay 25% and the manufacturer picks up 70%. So a total of 95% accounts towards the catastrophic stage. And I'm going to show you an example at the end of how this all kind of plays into effect. The catastrophic level this year is $8,000. Last year was $7,400. Last year, if you hit the catastrophic level, you were responsible for 5%. You're no longer responsible for that 5% if you hit the catastrophic level. So last year, they would either make you pay 5% co-insurance or a copay of $4.15 or $10.35. So whatever was greater was the 5% that you would have to pay. All right. So those are the 4 stages. Again, the first stage is deductible. I'm not going to read all this stuff to you. The second stage is the initial coverage phase. The third stage is the donut hole or the coverage gap. And then the fourth and final stage is the catastrophic level. All right. What's the difference between a retail and mail order? Well, sometimes when you mail order things, you might get a little bit of a discount when you use the mail order company that the prescription drug plan that you choose uses. All right. So retail pharmacies are typically the Krogers, the CVS, Walgreens of the world, or whatever grocery store you have in your area, Walmart. So if you want to get your medications there, that's where you're going to typically go. But mail order might save you a little bit. It just depends on the plan. And then the second thing you need to know is a preferred pharmacy versus a standard pharmacy, and even possibly an out-of-network pharmacy. But you will see copays on your drug plan. And if you go to a preferred pharmacy, your copay is going to be much better at a preferred pharmacy versus a standard pharmacy in most cases. Okay. So in stage 2, where you're either paying a copay or co-insurance for your drug, it makes a difference usually if you're at a preferred pharmacy versus a standard pharmacy. So it might be advantageous sometimes to switch pharmacies. Another thing you need to know about restrictions, they may place quantity limits. So if it's a particular pain medication, they might require you to only get a certain amount. You might need a prior authorization for certain medications. And then they also might require step therapy. So for some drugs, Medicare plans have a coverage rule that requires you to try one more alternative low-cost prescription drug versus the higher cost medication. You can always, possibly appeal this if the lower cost drug does not work and your doctor can prove it, but they are going to require you to go through step therapy in most cases. And then if there's a generic equivalent, they of course want you to take the generic. It's kind of similar to the step therapy to some regards. And then if there's therapeutic alternatives, they might recommend that you try a therapeutic alternative for a lower cost. So in summary, obviously these plans are very tricky. I'm going to show you now how an expensive drug would work out through the three different stages. I don't get to the fourth stage in this, but I'll explain it to you as best as I can. So this is a drug called Xarelto. I made up the 545, but that's kind of close to what it costs actually. So what I have here is your cost, what applies towards the coverage gap. So this is your bucket, this is the insurance company bucket, and this is what it's counting towards, the coverage gap. So if you were to, take this drug, and I use 545 because that is the deductible this year. So I'm just going to make math a little bit easier for me. But in January, if you were to get this medication, you're going to pay $545 because you have not met the deductible yet. Okay. So in January, we put $545 in your bucket, and there's $545 that is now applied towards the coverage gap. The second month, we're going to pretend that this has a $47 copay now. Okay. So we are going to pay the $47 for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. And you'll see your bucket is filling up with less money, but each month that $545 is going towards the coverage gap. So we are going to hit stage 3 with this particular medication, and this is assuming we're not taking any other medications, in October. All right. So in October, since we haven't met it quite yet, you're going to have to pay the $47. And then you'll see here, if we, added all this up, you would be at $5,450, but $5,030 is where the coverage gap starts. So there's a $420 difference. So you got to pay the $47. And then you got to pay 25% of the $420. So that's $105. So in October, you're going to pay $47 plus $105. All right. So here's where it gets a little bit confusing. So now we're in the donut hole. And in November and December, you're going to pay $136.25. So you're going to pay 25% of the $545. This is a brand name drug. So I mentioned that earlier. A brand name drug, the manufacturer of the drug will pick up 70%. So 95% is now going to apply towards the fourth and final stage, which is the catastrophic level. This year, it's $8,000. Okay. So a lot of people want to just take 8,000, subtract the 5,030 and say, okay, I'm only going to have $3,000 to pay at 25%. It doesn't work that way. The reason I mentioned a bucket here, your bucket at this point, when we get to the donut hole, has about $968 in it. Okay. My math may not be perfect here. I'm not a mathematician, but it's all pretty darn close. I know that for a fact. I just don't know if my numbers are 100% accurate. So what happens is the 8,000 catastrophic amount minus $968, we actually have $7,032 that we're responsible for in the donut hole to get up to the 8,000. The good news here again is you pay 25%. Not that that's really good news, but that's about $2,726. If it's a brand name drug, the manufacturer is picking up that extra 70%. So you're going to get out of the donut hole a little bit quicker. If it's a generic drug and you're paying 25%, the manufacturer does not pick up that extra 70%. But whatever your costs are in the donut hole at 25%, that all applies towards the 8,000. And then you get that extra 70% if it's a brand name drug. So if you happen to hit 8,000 this year, unfortunately, you've spent a lot of money, but the good news is there's no longer any more co-payments or co-insurance after you hit the 8,000. So that's how a prescription drug plan works. I know, again, it's a little bit confusing. And if you have any questions, you can reach out. If we added any more medications, it just changes everything here. I just wanted to kind of keep it as simple as possible, just to show you that, technically throughout the year, you could have 3 to 4 different costs for the exact same medication, depending on what stage you're in. So again, my name is Chris Ruhm with the Ruhm-Insurance Agency. You can come to my homepage here, chrisruhm.com, and I have all kinds of Medicare resources. If you want to get a quote, you can come to the instant quote page and you can look up Medicare prescription drug plans and Advantage plans. And remember, the prescription drug plan I just went over, whether it's in a Medicare Advantage plan or it's a standalone, they work the same way. You might see different numbers because Medicare Advantage plans typically have lower deductibles, but the whole concept is exactly the same. So when you see them in a Medicare Advantage plan, they're embedded in, they're separate from the drug plan or from the medical plan. They have their own numbers, but they are embedded, which is nice. And that's one of the reasons people like Advantage plans, because it is included. You don't need a standalone prescription drug plan. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.